Quincy just happened to be one of my biggest mentors, gave me a call. Said, listen, man, I'm doing this album. Can't put it out without you. Quincy said, listen, don't ever let the woman that you're dating between your age and her age ever equal 100. The women don't create life. They support the creation of life. A man right now can create life without a woman, but a woman can't create life without a man. If I wanted to create life right now without a woman, I would just shoot my sperm, put it in the incubator, and just give it 9 months, even maybe less with today's science, and a baby will be born.
Akon has just dropped a bombshell on his fans by allegedly revealing things about Quincy Jones that have been hidden for years. Akon is spilling all the beans and exposing what he has seen in the industry during all these years while working with him. It's no surprise that Akon has decided to weigh in on the debate, as many celebrities have been speaking out against the darkest secrets lurking in Hollywood, and Quincy is one of them. So, what did Akon reveal about Quincy that has made fans go into a frenzy?
That explained why he's so vibrant, still young, still up to date, still,
Yeah, but that would also mean he's now dating a 19-year-old.
That might mean that.
Akon has worked with Quincy quite a few times now, and it appears that he knows all the things that have been kept a secret from the world. One of the popular songs Akon remade with Quincy was Strawberry Letter 23. The song was adored by many fans, and Quincy and Akon had a great time on the set shooting it. However, some revelations left the world startled. While on the set of the video for the remake of Strawberry Letter 23, Akon kicked off the joking around by saying he had introduced Quincy Jones to a bunch of beautiful women. "You know that's not true," Quincy said, making Akon laugh. Then, when Akon called him Uncle Q, Quincy insisted they were actually the same age. Akon was one of many stars who contributed to the LP Q, Soul Bossa. The album featured various performers and producers putting their own spin on some of Quincy Jones's greatest hits. Quincy revealed how he started to work with Akon. He said, 3 or 4 years ago, we talked about it. Then he said everybody should be involved in this. And one by one, in various ways, it started to be what God wanted it to be. I ran into this brother, Akon, and he picked the song I wanted him to do anyway. Akon also shared how Quincy was just more than a producer for him during the shoot. He said, "He was my mentor without even knowing he was my mentor. He was like, look, man, I want you to be part of this album. There's no way we can do this album without you being a part of it." I said, "Can I do Strawberry Letter 23? He said, "Man, look, that's what I had in mind for you." He gave me the freedom to do what I wanted to do.
Quincy just happened to be one of my biggest mentors, gave me a call. Said, listen, man.
However, the matter was not limited to the music video of Strawberry Letter 23. There was something more going on between the producer and Akon. In an interview, Akon shared that he has a deeper bond with Quincy and that he loves him. Akon also mentioned that Quincy has given him valuable advice, which shows that they are close friends who share their deepest thoughts with each other. Akon also shared that they do more stuff, nearly everything together than just work.
100%. I love Quincy.
So what did you guys do together?
We did everything together.
Then Akon went on to share some advice that Quincy gave him, which sounded unpleasant to many fans. Akon said, "He gave me the best advice I probably would ever receive as a man," Quincy says. "Listen, don't ever let the woman that you're dating between your age and her age ever equal."
Quincy said, listen, don't ever let the woman that you're dating between your age and her age ever equal 100.
While the interviewer jokingly said, "That means when you're 50, don't date a 50-year-old woman." Akon further mentioned that the advice Quincy gave him explains how Quincy remains so vibrant and full of energy even at his current age.
That explained why he's so vibrant, still young, still up to date, still,
Yeah, but that would also mean he's now dating a 19-year-old.
That might mean that.
It's worth noting that Quincy is now 91 years old, and seeing a piece of advice coming from him was disturbing for many fans. However, this created more disturbing news than this. May fans believed Quincy to be doing things more than what meets the eye behind closed doors, and it turned out to be true. Many fans also called Quincy the P word, criticizing him for such behavior and advice for being in the Hollywood industry for so long. As one of the oldest producers, the mentality and things he might hold in mind could hurt anyone. However, these aren't just thoughts. There are headlines about this kind of stuff. You know what they say? Age is just a number. Well, in this case, Quincy has indeed proven this true. Even at 91 years old, Quincy hasn't stopped dating women as young as 28 years old. Quincy Jones might be 91, but old age hasn't stopped his womanizing ways. In a GQ interview that came out, Jones spilled the beans that he's got romantic partners all over the globe, some of them as young as 28, and they're all in the loop about each other. He straight up told the magazine, "I got 22 girlfriends. Hell yeah, everywhere. Cape Town, Cairo, Stockholm, she's coming in next week. Brazil, Belo Horizonte, Sao Paulo, and Rio. Shanghai, got a great girl over there from Shanghai, man. Cairo, whoo." The famous producer has 6 daughters and a son from his ex-wives Jerry Caldwell, Ulla Anderson, and Peggy Lipton, as well as from former girlfriends Carol Reynolds and Nastasia Kinski. About marrying his ex-wives, Jones said, "I was married 3 times, man. Was told not to marry actresses or singers. I ended up with 2 actresses, Peggy Lipton and Nastasia Kinski, and a superstar model. I didn't listen to all the advice." Jones also mentioned that he stays up front with his many partners about his womanizing ways. He said, "Yeah, I don't lie. And it's amazing. Women get it, man. Don't you ever forget they're 13 years smarter than we are. Don't you ever forget it." Quincy further proved that the advice he gave to Akon was true. The Thriller producer clearly enjoys the company of women, but when the magazine asked if he'd consider dating someone his own age, he had this to say, "Hell no. You see me with an 84-year-old woman? Are you crazy?" When pressed as to why not, he responded with, "Why not? Why? For what, man? There's nothing. There's no upside. You gotta be kidding. I got me some technology out there that keep fat and old away from here. Buzzes if they're too old," Jones continued. "But you'd be surprised. These women, the young ones, are aggressive now. Oh my God, they're fearless, man. All over the world." While the off-the-wall record producer leans towards dating younger women, he did admit that there are certain age limits he sticks to. He said, "Well, my daughters gave me new numbers because they kept saying, 'Dad, you can't go out with girls younger than us.' I said, 'Y'all are not young anymore.' So the new numbers are 28 to 42. They gave them to me." Even at his age, the music legend made it clear that his desire for physical intimacy hasn't diminished one bit, saying, "Not to me. Hell no. Never. And though he has no intention of giving up his playboy ways, Jones believes his comeuppance for being a womanizer is having stunning daughters. He quipped, "When you've been a dog all your life, God gives you beautiful daughters and you have to suffer. I love them so much. They're here all the time." Many fans found this logic uncomfortable and scary, as Hollywood has long been a place for Recently, many cases have come forward alleging physical misconduct. One prime example to be mentioned is the hip-hop singer P. Diddy. If you were living under a rock, recently a lot of allegations and lawsuits have been filed against the mogul, alleging physical misconduct and unacceptable activities taking place at his parties and while working in the industry with him. One of the people who came forward to confront his mistreatment is his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. For many years, he has been her ex-girlfriend and kept it all a secret until she decided to stand up for herself. The details are disturbing enough to make one question about the type of humans lurk in the shadows of Hollywood. Such people have been existing in the industry for ages, and what is surprising is that they find their prey on young individuals who have just entered the industry or want to achieve something. These talented individuals fall into the hands of the as they're exploited. One of the comedians in the industry, Cat Williams, did mention at the start of 2024 that all lies will be exposed, and perhaps numerous people came forward alleging the same kind of things against Sean Diddy Combs. In fact, last month, Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, raided Sean Diddy Combs' Los Angeles home in connection with a federal ST case, according to authorities. A report alleged that there have been allegations that Diddy has been young women. It added that the agency is probably investigating alleged crimes committed in multiple states. HSI was likely looking for evidence like laptops, flash drives, and anything that could link Combs to the allegations. With such examples right in front of their eyes roaming freely in Hollywood, many fans went into an online frenzy over Quincy promoting or even saying such things. Many believe that Quincy might be involved in shady dealings and is hiding things just to defend himself. However, time will tell what is really going on, just as it did with Diddy's lies. Many fans also didn't leave Akon out of the conversation, as they believed that Akon might also have been involved, as Quincy and Khan had a great bond. Many fans have already been furious about Akon's big promises and not fulfilling them. You see, in 2018, Akon announced a huge project. Akon announced a plan to build a community named Akon City in the Mbour department of Senegal in Africa. Akon announced he's building his own $6 billion city in Africa, kind of like a mix of Dubai and the fictional city of Wakanda. Akon City is all about blending innovation with luxury. It's got 5 different areas, each with its own vibe. First up is the African Village District, where you'll find modern waterfront homes and a big resort for some serious chilling out. Then there's the Entertainment District, with a super cool stadium and a huge casino for non-stop fun. In the Tech District, they're aiming to make it the Silicon Valley of Africa, with all sorts of new tech shaping the future. And of course, you've got the Health and Safety District, where you'll find all the important stuff like police stations, fire departments, and hospitals. Then there's the Education District, offering learning for everyone, from kids to grown-ups. Last but not least, the Senwood District, with fancy filming studios, offices, and homes, all topped off with the iconic Akon Tower. Akon and his team have been getting everything ready for the past 4 years, aiming to have it all set for you to check out by 2024. But now, just 4 years later, this is what Akon City looks like today. Corruption, shady cryptocurrency, stealing land from locals, these are just some of the bad things Akon has been accused of during this whole mess of a project. At first, a lot of people thought he was a good guy trying hard to make a perfect city. But now, they're wondering why someone who thinks men are like kings to be worshipped by women wants to run his own city. However, people trusted Akon when they heard about his life story and his intentions to not see others suffering in the same condition. After making millions of dollars in the music industry, Akon wanted to give back to Senegal, where he grew up. He knew firsthand the struggles of living without electricity. In his hometown, like many others, there was no running water or power, and local businesses had to close at night. Families had to rely on candles and lamps, leading to deadly accidents from fumes and fires. So, in 2014, Akon launched Akon Lighting Africa. In the first year, he brought solar energy to 14 different African nations. While his intentions were good, he had to use some questionable tactics to persuade countries to invest in solar power. One issue Akon noticed in African communities is their lack of unity and long-term planning. So, he came up with a clever strategy. He targeted countries with upcoming elections and offered to install free solar systems in villages chosen by the leaders. This included street lights and solar panels for homes and businesses. This move made the leaders look good and helped them gain more votes. Once a village received these solar lights, neighboring villages started questioning their leaders about why they weren't getting them too. Some people criticize this tactic, but ultimately, it benefits the communities the most. Solar power allows vendors to work longer hours and kids to study after dark. Plus, having streetlights has led to a decrease in crime rates. By 2020, Akon Lighting Africa had installed 100,000 solar-powered street lamps, 200 solar microgrids, and generated over 5,000 jobs. But many wonder how Akon financed such a massive project. While his music success helped, it still required hundreds of millions of dollars. He secured a line of credit for up to $1 billion worth of solar equipment from China's Jiangsu International Group, a Chinese government-owned construction firm. This credit allowed African nations to pay for the solar infrastructure in installments, which they couldn't afford up front. Thanks to Akon's efforts, around 28.8 million people can now enjoy the same benefits of electricity that much of the world has had for decades. China has been investing money in Africa since the early 2000s, but their interest has really grown over the past decade. They've lent a huge $170 billion to 49 different countries. While some think this is good for Africa's progress, others worry that China might have some not-so-nice reasons behind their investments. Now, when you borrow money, you have to pay it back, right? Well, Africa has a big problem there. Between 2000 and 2022, they've racked up a debt of about $1.8 trillion. That's a massive amount, way more than Africa's economy has grown during that time. It's like having a big credit card bill, but not enough money to pay it off. Here's where it gets tricky. Some people think China's up to something called debt trap diplomacy, or the Chinese debt trap. Basically, they build fancy stuff in Africa, like big roads and buildings, that African countries can't really afford. Then, if these countries can't pay back the money, China might take control of the things they built. It's a bit mysterious why China would want all this land and stuff in Africa, but hey, your guess is as good as mine. Not only is Akon building a city named after himself, but he's also creating a cryptocurrency that he controls and owns most of. Before launching his Akoin cryptocurrency, the Akoin website announced a pre-sale opportunity called the Token of Appreciation, TOA, campaign. This pre-sale was treated like a donation, and donors were promised 4 tokens for every $1 spent. Akoin was launched on most major crypto exchanges in early 2021 and peaked at around 58 cents, giving TOA holders a 132% gain if they sold. However, most holders believed in Akoin and decided to hold on to their tokens. Within a few months, the price dropped to roughly 10 cents per coin, turning a 132% gain into a 60% loss for TOA holders. Due to this shocking dip, Akoin admins offered refunds to their initial donors. One donor, Marcus, said the refund was supposed to come a few weeks later. Now, over a year has passed, and they are still in the same situation with a lack of communication, leaving everyone frustrated. Marcus isn't alone. The owner of the Go Black to Africa YouTube channel showed proof of emailing Akoin admins and being ignored for years. The YouTuber wrote to Andrew of the Akoin Foundation requesting a refund on December 19, 2021. Andrew replied 22 days later, saying the YouTuber was added to the list for refund requests and that they would be reaching out shortly with further details. The YouTuber provided his physical mailing address, which Andrew claimed was the next step toward a refund, but he was ignored for 4 months. Now it has been 3 years, and there is still no refund. When Akon was asked about these refunds, he said he had no idea there were any problems.
That I was aware, because I know all the people that I know that was on record. We definitely met with everybody, and this was the agreement that was actually agreed on. So if there was anyone outside of that, I definitely wasn't aware.
Many people have alleged that Akon hasn't paid these people back out of his own pocket. The coin eventually dropped to 0.29 cents, which is essentially a 100% loss. Right now, Akoin isn't listed on any cryptocurrency exchange, so nobody can buy, sell, or use it. It's worth nothing.
But it seems, though, that he is just like most who would want to use Africa only for his own benefit.
As if things couldn't get any worse, Akon City is an utter ghost town today. Last year, a picture went viral showing just one Minecraft-like concrete block in the center of Akon City, highlighting the extreme lack of progress. Akon had promised the city would be done by 2024, but now in 2024, there's only one completed building, a standard non-futuristic structure that they claim is a recreational center. There's also a small, barely constructed building with a spiral staircase, which somewhat resembles the original vision. However, 99% of the land remains vacant with wild cattle grazing. Technically, construction has begun, but this is far from the futuristic megacity we were promised. Akon blamed the pandemic, saying it pushed everything back by 2 years. This doesn't make much sense since he announced Akon City to the international media during the worst moments of the pandemic. The unfortunate part is that the land, which is just sitting unused, belonged to several hundred people who are still owed compensation from the Senegalese government. The first phase of Akon City was supposed to be built on 55 hectares of land secured by SAPCO in 2009, eventually expanding to 500 hectares by the end of the decade. Senegal's President Macky Sall said the problem with the land isn't with Akon, but with SAPCO, as they took the land from the villagers originally. The Senegalese government's tourist board, SAPCO, was backing the project, saying they believed in Akon City and supported it fully, expecting it to attract tourists and investors. However, they recently sent Akon a formal notice stating that if the project hasn't advanced by next year, its contract with him will be terminated. Since Akon has promised a lot but delivered very little, people are starting to question his intentions from the beginning. He said, "I plan to retire in that city." He says confidently, "I don't like to use the word king of the city, but that's what it will turn out to be." Comments like these have led some people to think that Akon City is either just an ego boost for him or at a corrupt billion-dollar scam. Additionally, Akon's views on Western morals and gender roles have caused disagreement among people about his suitability as a leader.
But what happens in today's society, the woman chooses which role she want to play. In the last 10, 15 years, I haven't met a woman that can actually cook. I haven't met a woman that actually clean the house. I've met the baddest on the globe and asked to go to the bathroom, and the bathroom looked like hair all over the place, all kind of products. Like, come on now. That's a natural instinct.
Perhaps it's all meant in jest, but Akon does indeed adopt a non-Western approach to raising his 9 children with 7 different women.
Children, in life there's roles.
Yeah, no.
A man has his role.
Yes.
And a woman has her role. Yes. But the day the woman believes that the man is supposed to share her role with her.
Now, this could simply be seen as a traditional way of raising a family, but at times, he supports his beliefs with highly questionable bro-science.
America, the women don't create life. They support the creation of life. A man right now can create life without a woman, but a woman can't create life without a man. If I wanted to create life right now without a woman, I would just shoot my sperm, put it in the incubator, and just give it 9 months, even maybe less with today's science, and a baby will be born.
Hopefully, Akon isn't in charge of what kids learn in Akon City because he doesn't seem to get science quite right. He's talking about something called in vitro gametogenesis, which is trying to make a baby outside the body. Right now, that's not something we can do. We can make a baby's beginnings in a lab, but it has to go back into a woman's belly for it to grow into a baby. At worst, some people might think Akon is a scammer with a big ego, taking money from China to build stuff in Africa that Africa can't really afford. They worry that while African nations struggle, he's making himself rich. At best, maybe he really wants to make a cool new city for African people to live in. But it looks like running a city is harder than he thought. So for now, it seems like Akon City won't happen anytime soon, if ever. Many people are furious about the promises Akon made and hasn't kept. Not only that, but they also wonder if Akon has been involved in shady dealings in Hollywood. He's been supporting Quincy Jones, who seems to have a reputation as a womanizer. Interestingly, Akon himself believes there's no need for women in childbirth. It sounds quite amusing, but it's concerning when artists in the industry hold such views. That's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching.